What's going on, guys? It's Danny from Fantasy Stock Exchange here, and today I'll be going through my top week 4 streamers, players at the quarterback, tight end, and defensive positions that if you missed out early, if you didn't get, your Jalen Hurts's, Patrick Mahomes's, Travis Kelce's, or your top defenses in your drafts, guys that you can plug into your lineup this week and can give you immediate fantasy production to help you win those week 4 matchups. If you guys enjoy content like this and are interested in more, make sure you leave a like down below, comment your favorite streaming option of the week, and subscribe to the channel. Just crossed 15,000 subscribers last week. Appreciate you guys for the consistent support on the road to 20,000 subscribers. Gonna keep this video brief, gonna keep this video concise. So before we get into the video, as always, let's hit that damn intro. All right, let's start off with the quarterback position. My number one quarterback stream of the week is going to be Trevor Lawrence, quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars, going on the road to play the Philadelphia Eagles. 58% rostered in Yahoo Fantasy Leagues, and I get it on the surface level. Tough defense he is going up against the Eagles, but this game does have a high over-under combined, and with how good Lawrence has been thus far, nearly 20 fantasy points per game, top 12 quarterback in fantasy to start the year, it makes him more than a fine streamer this week. And to be honest, I think rest of the season, he's a top 15 level option, and he's looking to improve off of that 25-point performance he just hung on the road against the LA Chargers defense. I get it. Trevor Lawrence, tough defense this week, but he is past streamer range. He is a must roster quarterback 1-2 fringe type where if you lost to Dak Prescott, if you lost to Trey Lance, if you were scouring towards that quarterback you can trust for the rest of the season, particularly in the short term, I think Trevor Lawrence is your guy. Next option, Jared Goff, quarterback of the Detroit Lions, going to play the Seattle Seahawks at home. 45% rostered for Jared Goff. And don't look now, like I said with Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff is a top 12 level fantasy quarterback thus far. Again, averaging nearly 20 points per game. And in this matchup, a prime matchup against a weak Seahawks defense that has conceded 54 points in back-to-back games. Both teams, in my opinion, having inferior offenses to what the Detroit Lions represent. And in this game, the over-under is set at 50 points. This profiles to be one of the higher scoring games of the slate. Put Jared Goff in your lineup, starting with top 15 level confidence this week against Seattle. Next quarterback you can put into your lineup and stream is Jameis Winston, quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, going to play Minnesota, 9:30 a.m. kickoff in London. 42% roster for Winston. And I get it. The last couple games he has not played well, but he is in a prime bounce back spot against a Vikings defense that has given leeway to the Eagles and Lions in back-to-back weeks. Winston, as we've seen in the past few weeks, has still seen a ton of passing volume, top 5 in pass rate for the New Orleans Saints this season. And quite frankly, he just needs to cut down on the boneheaded turnovers that have plagued him in weeks 2 and 3. Streaming quarterbacks, again, outside of those top 2, in my opinion, are ugly this week. So plug your nose, trust the passing volume, and hope for a bounce back from Jameis. Just has to limit those bad turnovers in these past couple weeks that we've seen. Tight end position, start off with the number one option, Tyler Conklin, tight end of the New York Jets, going to play the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road, 21% rostered in Yahoo Fantasy Leagues. And we just saw this past week, Tyler Conklin, 70% route participation in week 3, and has smashed with 7+ targets in each game to start the year. 3 games, 7+ targets in each game for Tyler Conklin. He is a clear contributor for this Jets passing offense. He's really starting to look like he can become past a 1-week fix, especially if he can keep up this current pace where he's the tight end 4 in all of fantasy right now with the elite volume he's seeing. He's not like he scored, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, and that's why he's tight end 4. No, he's getting a consistent target basis in this Jets offense that has passed the ball and passed the ball a ton. I like Tyler Conklin. Put him in your lineup with top 15 level expectation against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also put David Njoku in your lineups, tight end of the Cleveland Browns, going to play the Atlanta Falcons on the road, 52% rostered. And while I personally prefer Tyler Conklin in the short term when Joe Flacco is starting, I think rest of the season, if you have to make one claim, maybe you had George Kittle who's been banged up and you want, an insurance option past him. David Njoku is the one tight end that I want rest of the season with fringe top 12 level expectation. 82% route participation and a 34.5% target share on Thursday Night Football against the Steelers. Obviously, we can't expect that high level target share every single week for Njoku, but the path to paying off for Njoku is very easy to spot. He's athletic, and he has a clear opportunity to be the number 2 receiver in this Browns offense. Very similar case to Conklin. You got to trust the volume, but with David Njoku, you're getting that athleticism factor and the fact that he is genuinely, in my opinion, one of the best up-and-coming tight ends in the NFL. Number 3 is going to be Irv Smith Jr. of the Minnesota Vikings. Going to play against the New Orleans Saints, as I mentioned, 9:30 a.m. kickoff in London, 58% rostered for Irv Smith Jr. And when it comes to Irv, 6 targets on his 25 routes run in week 3. It looks like he's starting to earn back that tight end 1 status for his team. And the Viking offense, of course, thus far hasn't really looked quite the unit I expected them to be coming into the year, but I do expect them to take major strides in bouncing back in the upcoming weeks. Irv Smith, athletic flyer, worth the option if you can't get one of those top 2 guys with Conklin and Njoku. Now let's go on to defense. My number 1 defensive stream of the week is going to be the New York Giants, going to play the Chicago Bears at home, only rostered in 11% of leagues. And when it comes to the Giants, this game has a very low implied total, only a 39-point implied total. And with the Bears offense, including Justin Fields, it has looked absolutely abysmal to start the year. And funny stat with Justin Fields, he's only thrown the ball 45 times this year, yet he's thrown 4 interceptions. He's thrown a pick on nearly 9% of his passing plays. Obviously, I think the talent is still there for Justin Fields. I hope that the talent eventually wins out for him, but he has not looked like a good NFL quarterback thus far, given the weaponry there, given the offensive line struggles, and given the fact that Fields himself has not played well. There's a really good chance that this tough Giants defense gets after him early and often and forces the Bears to cough the ball up 1, 2, maybe even 3 times in this game playing at home. Number 2 defensive stream of the week is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals going up at home against the Miami Dolphins, 58% rostered in Yahoo Fantasy Leagues. And the big caveat of this one is the pending status of Tua Tagovailoa's health. The Dolphins quarterback, obviously against the Buffalo Bills, suffered a hard hit in what looked like a concussion-inducing play last week prior to returning to the game against Buffalo in week 2. The reports are that he's trying to get fully healthy for this week's game, but Thursday night kickoff doesn't really do him any favors. And it's worth noting, too, that the line is currently -3.5 Cincinnati, where I do think if Vegas knew right now that Tua Tagovailoa would be the quarterback, I do think that Miami would be a road favorite in this game, given how Miami has looked to start the year versus given how the Bengals have looked. So the fact that Cincinnati is an implied 3.5-point favorite is telling me that Vegas knows something that we don't in regards to Tua Tagovailoa's health. So it's worth stashing the Bengals defense now in case Tua doesn't suit up. And then, of course, if he does eventually suit up, if he does get ruled in for this game, as this is a Thursday night game, you could just pivot to a Sunday matchup to your defensive streamer. Number 3, and my final streamer of the video, is going to be the Indianapolis Colts defense going to play the Tennessee Titans at home, 35% rostered in Yahoo Fantasy Leagues. And when it comes to this matchup, the Titans offense, to put it simply, has looked completely and utterly gross when it hasn't played that Raiders sieve of a defense. Indianapolis, we've just seen this past week, it's coming off a game holding Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense to only 17 points, and now get another home matchup against Tennessee. I expect this game to be an ugly interdivisional game. 2 quarterbacks that have been extremely volatile to start the year. But, of course, I'm siding on the side of the home team and the better overall defense with Indy rather than Tennessee. So give me the Indianapolis defense. I expect them to get after Ryan Tannehill early and often in this matchup and potentially force the Titans to cough the ball up more than one occasion. So either way, if you've made it to the end of this video and you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like down below and, of course, subscribe to the channel. All week, tons of content. Thursday night live stream, Sunday morning live stream. Make sure you guys tune in while we help and answer all of your guys' questions in regards to this week's fantasy slate. But either way, appreciate you guys for tuning around, and peace out.